DR fam? Hope everybody's doing well. Had a great day, and my first day back at work today. Even though I was working from home, so that made it a little easier to kind of ease back in. But still a very busy day. Let's talk about DR and kind of what's going on. And I'm actually going to start last night when the market opened back up. Start with the Asian session, or the ADR session, and these were a couple of pretty last night. Asian and London were two actually relatively simple DR trades, and I want to talk about them for a second here. So this is the Asian, right, or ADR, and one thing we've talked about in the past is that when price comes down and closes below IDR or above IDR, but doesn't close down below DR, right? We're not fully confirmed yet, but that's always a great indicator that we're likely going to confirm lower. All right, and so one thing that I noticed was we did that here, and then we came down and wicked down below it, and then we had this another candle that came down, touched the DR but didn't go below it, and we only had a 6 point DR range like overnight, which is kind of normal, right? And so didn't do anything here, but then what I noticed was we came back up and went right up to the zero point 0.5 fib, right? And then we wicked up the 0.5 fib, and then we started coming back down. So I said, well, this is a pretty good indicator. We're going to keep going down. We went up to the 0.5 fib, and we've kind of rejected off of that. So easy place to take a trade is right here on that 0.5 fib. You get picked up, and you can take it all the way down. I mean, it was that was what if I take it from here. That's let's say 44.80. You could have rolled that down to 44.68. So easy 10 points on that one. And even if you didn't take that, right? If you decided, well, I'm going to wait for the price to come down, it didn't confirm below DR here, right? But it did the same thing it did over here, right? Kept bouncing off of it, went back up a little bit, and then came back down again. Now the official confirmation was here, but if I waited for that and waiting for a retrace, I never got it. All right, so that's the tricky part about this one, is, and this normally works better on those like ADR and even the London, the ODR session, because price doesn't move as much, right? So like if we do it during New York, I wouldn't do that during New York, but if, like I said, during Asian, if I see this kind of pattern happening, then I know I can take that trade and with relatively strong confidence that I'm going to sort of work out. And worst case, this is a 6 point range, so if I'm up here at 5 points, I have to go way up here for it to not work out for me, right? If I'm using my full 5 point range. So again, just an easy trade here on the Asian with the ADR, and we'll roll London. London did the same thing, but I was asleep. Well, actually, when this happened, I actually was awake, but I just didn't. I wasn't looking at the charts during the time I was at an appointment. So I was at my appointment. But if you look at what happened with London, we had a lot of up and down wicks, wick action here, and then we stayed inside the range for a pretty long time. We actually didn't come out of the range really until 8 o'clock. But again, same scenario, right? We came here and we started wicking and hitting on this bottom of this DR. But if you notice that red candle, it closed below IDR. So now I'm expecting it to come down. And so, you could have taken a trade here. And then this is 44.62. And that's 44.62. Oh, that's 44. That's almost 20 points. If you've taken a trade right there, right? So again, it's just a matter of trusting it and seeing if it works or not. And if you were really bold, you could actually took it all the way to the RDR session because it kept going down. But we're talking 20 points here, which is and you look at how the trade ended up. It wasn't, it never actually started to retrace back up. It just kept going down, right? Even if you had these green candles, they weren't, they didn't actually go above the previous candle, right? So a lot of opportunity there to look at profit. So just ways to just maximize what you're doing with DR. You have 3 sessions that you can actually leverage the DR on. So might as well do that if you're up and you're into trading like I am. All right, so let's get to RDR, which was our New York session today. Let me make sure I can fit everything in here. Okay, so now today was New York was a challenging trading day if you're trading DR, right? I'll be honest about that. Now there are a ton of points available to you if you were using additional or other strategies, right? And you can probably see why in a second here, right? But if we look at DR, and we had a pretty good size range today, 23 to 46. So what's that? 23 points. So really, above our 16 to 20 plus that we like to see. And but we had this huge, markets opened up and prices kind of tanked, right? We came all the way down, and then we got to about 11:30 and we started reversing, right? And so prior to that, what I want you to see is we had a DR confirmation right here, right? So again, we had a bunch of candles in here that closed in between IDR and DR, and so I was like, okay, we're going to close. We're probably likely going to close or confirm low. All right, so we did that on this candle, retraced right back up, and then got to this candle. Price went up, then came down. So I actually got my order in right here at 44.25 and let it come down. And my 5 points was right here. Right, so that's the easy five. Well, not easy five, but it's 5 points right here. Okay, and so now here's where it gets interesting, right? So I see price turn around, starts to go back up. I mean, it's moving, right? And so I'm like, well, I confirmed low, so I don't, I'm looking for that to happen. So my next steps would be forward to, I'm looking at 0.5 fib. Okay, but before that, I had an order placed here, right? Because once we went above, I put my order here for it to come down and pick me back up. So it never picked me back up. And so I actually put into my group, I said, I'm going to cancel this order because of this fair value gap right here. This is a bullish one. So even if price had come down and picked me up off of this IDR low, likely it would have turned around and went back up. Okay, so it didn't make sense for me to actually put that trade on there, or actually it didn't make sense for me to keep it there once I saw that fair value gap form right there. So took that trade off. I said, okay, I'll just wait, because the next thing that should happen, and the next thing I'm looking at is up here at the 0.5 fib. Now, if I see price going up here, even though I confirm low, what I'm saying is there's an opportunity for me to go up and ride price all the way up. Because again, now if you're looking at this is a 25, probably another, that's another 20 point range that it had up here. So what I waited for was I want to see if price tested this fair value gap, right? It's bullish, right? So I want price to come in and I can jump in. I normally put a trade right on the top of the fair value gap and then let it ride up. This candle got as close as it could without actually getting into that fair value gap. So there's no trade for me here. Okay, so again, following rules like that, I didn't take that trade. Again, it's even against my DR rules, but this is definitely an ICT strategy where, if price takes out that or comes into that fair value gap, you can actually take it up. So that didn't happen. Okay, so here's what did happen. So price goes up all the way to the 0.5 fib, goes above it. So now I'm back on the right side of the law, right? So because my order is now a sell order right here on this 0.5 fib. So I get picked up again. Now what I'm noticing is what I got another fair value gap here. Okay, so I did what I said. Okay, I'm going to give it one chance to just bust through that fair value gap. If it doesn't, my sell order was right here on this on the top of the fair value gap, right? So I want it to come down and then come back up. It starts coming out of that fair value gap. I want to get out of that trade. So this was what's that, 43, 44, and I end up getting stopped out at 43.32. So just a really just like a 2.5 point trade here. Okay, but again, sticking to rules that I know make sense to me. Now, if we had busted through this fair value gap and kind of kept going down, I was already, I'm doing the right trade. I'm positioned in the right direction where I want to be. All right. So now what I could have done, which I did actually here, I could have actually just thrown a buy order on here to kind of use that run up as well. But what I wanted to see was if it actually went up and tested this 0.5 fib again and then start coming back down. So it did that, never got back down to the 0.5 to the fair value gap. Now, so then this goes up above the 0.5 fib, and then it comes back down and tests this additional fair value gap. Again, these are all bullish, right? They're green, so they're bullish. Test this one out, and I put an order in right here on this on the top of that that fair value gap for it to go up. And so this is, let's see, 37. I know I think I like 5 or 7, or what did I get to? Oh, no. I'm sorry. I know what I did here. I saw it going up toward the IDR, right? For the IDR high. Now, so I got out right here on IDR high, because what I'm looking at and thinking about now is, okay, if it's going all the way up here, then this is one of two things, right? This is either a retirement setup where it's going to shoot back down, or it's going to go above the, it's going to close above the DR and invalidate this DR confirmation, okay? And so this is at 1:30, so we still got time in the market. If this happened at 3 o'clock, I wouldn't even care about it. But at 1:30, this is critical to me. So I actually got out of my trade here, and then the next thing I'm looking at is, okay, I want to see what this candle will do. And so I'm looking at this candle go up here. And so what I did was I put a sell order right here on. Actually, no, I put it on 44.42. Because what I want to be careful of is I didn't want it to come down, pick me up, and then shoot back up, right? If I had it right here. So I actually gave up 2 points on this one just to be safe. Now, what that caused what caused that to happen, let me try that again, all right? What that caused to happen was, instead of me having, 5 points from 45 down to 40, or even from 43 down to 40, at 42, when I got in at 42, then price came down, another bullish fair value gap here, right? So again, I'm not taking a chance, so I put my sell order at 44.40, and that's what, 2 points, maybe at 1.5 points. So again, it's one of those things where you want to be careful, all right? Because I wanted price to shoot down and keep going. I would have been okay, but it didn't do that. So I put my stop right here to get out, right at the top of that fair value gap. And then when it came back up, it took me out. I'm good with it. All right. Now, so the next one that happens, and this is kind of where my day ended, because I really wasn't that interested anymore. We came up here and we had price actually close above the fair value gap. Close above the DR, and so now we have invalidated this this DR for today. All right. Now, could I have made additional trades? I could have done this trade. I could have went up. I could have done other things. But once this happened and we were no longer confirmed, I wasn't that interested in kind of, the price, because I wasn't sure what price was going to do after that. All right. So we had a little bit of a, retrace, and it kind of shot back up. And so, again, it could have taken this trade, but wasn't worth it for me. Between the overnights and kind of early in the morning, it was a good day. It was a struggle day, right? You had to focus. And I'd say if I was at my office, I would not have been able to pull these trades off. I can tell you that, because I literally was focused on, each tick of the candle and where it's going to go, and, how to hit the fair value gap and what did it do then. And so, it wasn't just a clean day. If we had confirmed high and kept going high, that's easy. Or confirmed low and kept going low, that's easy, right? So, but this one was a little bit of a challenge, and I really had to make sure I'm sticking to my rules and all those kind of things. Okay. Anyway, so that's that. Sorry, it's a little bit long, but I think it was important to kind of go through all three, because there's opportunities at all times with DR, and you just got to see which ones you want to take advantage of. A lot of people don't like trading the Asian because the range, it's not a lot of volume. But one thing about low volume is, once price starts going in a direction, it normally keeps going in that direction, right? Because there's not a lot of volume to push against it. So that's why I like, looking at that one. Even I'm watching TV, I'm doing something, working on a project or whatever. It's easy to kind of keep an eye on that. And same thing with London, if you get up early enough, if you're on the East Coast. But anyway, so that's all, guys. Hope this was really helpful. If you got questions, drop them in the in the comms communications piece of YouTube, and I'll make sure we answer them. Other than that, have a great day. Tomorrow I think we have non-farm payrolls in the morning, 8:30. So keep your head on the swivel for that. And otherwise, we'll talk to you later.